leading the way in AI.
Welcome to today's webinar on critical challenges faced by healthcare insurers in today's rapidly evolving landscape, realigning your tech adoption, process, and people. The healthcare industry in particular has been going through quite a few challenges, and it is at a pivotal point today. The challenges we face are multifaceted, complex, and require a lot of innovation and collaborative efforts. We will start today by highlighting some of the pressures faced by the organizations today, whether it's rising cost of healthcare, regulatory changes, or legacy platforms holding you back from delivering the experience or satisfaction you expect in today's consumer-centric world. Many organizations fail at modernization efforts, a staggering 70% in fact. But we hope the insights and the practical approaches we share with you today help you avoid becoming part of that stat. Before we begin, I encourage you to actively participate, ask lots of questions, and share your thoughts. This webinar is an opportunity for us to learn from each other, exchange ideas, and collaboratively seek solutions to the challenges we face today. So let's get started. Please join me in welcoming my co-presenter, colleague, and dear friend, Fariba Ali Marasi. She's a visionary technology executive who's been at the forefront of driving global digital transformation for Fortune 100 companies. With a remarkable ability to align business and technology, she has consistently fostered innovation and led cultural collaboration within some of the most influential organizations today. Fariba excels, and I've seen her in action, harmonizing business and technology objective, promoting cutting-edge technology, modernizing platforms with a sharp focus on change management. Crucial today. You will hear her speak about her approach, which is not just about implementing technology, but also about cultivating culture of collaboration that empowers teams to work together seamlessly to achieve that common goal. Fariba's exceptional ability to navigate intricacies of both business and technology landscapes makes her a standout leader in the field. Fariba is an AVP and CIO of Aetna International at CVS Health. Fariba, a very, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Chinthi. It's a pleasure being here. I'm looking forward to this discussion and also the views of our audience. Thank you.
And I'm Chinthi Weerasinghe, CEO of Mitra Innovations. Mitra has been born from partnering with entrepreneurs to deliver their vision. We at Mitra are a team of engineers that are committed to creating an impact and delivering unprecedented value to our clients, led by entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs with over 100 years of industry experience in managing relationships from ISVs to enterprises. We are focused on three key capabilities around cloud-native platform engineering, enterprise integration, and workflow automation. We have successfully delivered over 500 projects across multiple industries, whether it be BFS, healthcare, telco, or other domains across the globe. I am delighted to be your host for this session, and whether you're joining us from near or far, thank you for taking the time to be with us. So let's get started by highlighting some of the key challenges that are reshaping the way healthcare payers operate today. You know, it's a miss if I don't talk about the rising cost of healthcare. The cost of medical care continues to escalate, putting significant pressure on both insurers and consumers. And balancing affordability with comprehensive coverage is a delicate and ongoing struggle for all organizations. But it appears that it's not coverage that's making people leave their payers, but the customer experience. In a recent survey, customer experience and satisfaction was ranked a number one reason for members or consumers to leave their insurance. In fact, in an industry that is so consumer health centric, from a healthcare and patient, where patients demand transparency, personalized experience, The gap between the expected customer experience and perceived customer experience is 25% of the time. Insurers are unfortunately missing the mark and in meeting those expectations. The next up is regulatory change and compliance. The regulatory landscape is always in a state of flux, in a constant state of flux, with new policies and compliance requirements emerging regularly. And staying abreast of these changes and ensuring adherence is actually a formidable task that demands constant vigilance and adaptability. As we embrace digital transformation for healthcare, integrating those advanced technologies and safeguarding data becomes paramount. Cybersecurity threats and the need to have robust data protection protocols are so critical today. In fact, one of the largest settlements for a data breach was a staggering $115 million. It is actually, what's interesting is, and the image will show you, if you stack up dollar bills, it's actually will reach the height of the Statue of Liberty. That's how staggering that amount is. Next is actually technology. Technology changes at such a rapid pace that technology advancements are challenging for organizations, especially because you see that 80% of the time, these organizations are maintaining legacy platforms, reducing that opportunity to innovate, and not having enough budget to bring new innovations to the fray. In fact, when you need to be using new technology as your North Star for change, they are actually just struggling to keep up with their old platforms. Lastly, the high administrative costs. Healthcare organizations are spending 15 to 30% just on administrative spending across the board. As an example, just automating prior authorization alone will save them over $417 million. So to summarize, if I can have all of these stats in one page, this is what it looks like. We have challenges that hold us back from delivering the customer experience we want to be able to deliver. Regulatory challenges constantly becoming a way that, it's almost a weight organizations cannot keep up with. Innovations that are challenging because you have legacy platforms that are very difficult to change and adopt to new technology. And last but not least, the staggering amount of administrative and operational costs. So how do these challenges become an opportunity? How do organizations overcome these challenges? Let's talk about customer experience. Offering seamless digital experience across devices, whether it's your mobile or your portal, personalizing your coverage from data insights are all great ways to deliver a fantastic customer experience. When it comes to privacy and regulatory compliance, you can use AI, great ways to deliver a fantastic customer experience. When it comes to privacy and regulatory compliance, you can use AI to help you with fraud detection, an advanced CIM or customer access management solution to deliver a single sign-on, a seamless experience when you go from platform to platform. In terms of adjusting, people can leverage the cloud technology to harness the power of the cloud with native capabilities just to help you modernize. Sometimes the technology is out there, just moving and migrating and modernizing your platforms helps you. Actively take a API first approach when integrating with, your partners, your adjacent services. And in terms of administrative costs, looking at quick wins to drive optimization, building self-service mobile apps or automating workflows with RPA and no-code platforms are all great ways to get us started. So what this all means is really modernization is no longer an option. It has to be the way forward. Fariba, I'd love to hear your thoughts in how you taken up. Do those challenges makes sense to you, how did you approach your modernization initiative in your organization?
Yeah, thank you, Chinthi. I think it's important to recognize that we have a number of challenges from modernization and the need for modernization. If we think about technology constantly continues to evolve. And in order for us to stay competitive in this fast-paced technological innovation, it's necessary for us to continue adopting the new tools and capabilities that the technology is bringing forward in order for us to stay competitive. The other dimension of that is technology actually helps us from a security perspective. We have to continue modernizing our applications in order for us to incorporate our security new measures and protocols, as well as to stay up and on top of regulatory requirements. The other dimension is the continued performance expectations from capability perspective. In order for us to continue having reliable applications and being able to be responsive to our users, we have to continue modernizing all of our capabilities in order for us to bring the best user experience, because that is part of the expectation. And we need to continue staying on top of the user experience and enhancing their overall and making it easy for self-service in order to just stay on par with the rest of the industry as the growth continues. The other dimension of this is the growth. So in order for us as Aetna International to continue growing, we have to not only modernize our applications, but we need to make sure that they are scalable and handle the volume of users and the needs from a scalability perspective. We need to not only make it easy for the users, but also seamlessly make it scalable so that we can continue being efficient from an operational perspective. The other point that I wanted to bring in is that from thinking around the modernization of our application, we have to make sure that our infrastructure continues to grow with the new capabilities, and we need to continue being innovative around the capabilities that we bring to the table. As we think about our growth, we can't continue thinking about it the same way as we always have, which is really having the human and the manual touch points that we always have had. We need to be able to continue to be more efficient from an operational perspective, and not only be able to respond to increase in needs quickly, but also making sure that we are saving the organization the costs and reduce the time from a delivery perspective as it relates to our legacy applications. And then, of course, in a modern era, we have to think about efficiency from an energy perspective. And we have to continue to think about how overall costs, both from a data center operations perspective, as well as the capabilities that exist today, and how we can create efficiencies. And then finally, not only we have to improve our ROI from a time to market and end user satisfaction, but also create flexibility and agility to bring the new capabilities every day to the table. And we need to continue staying on top of resilience and reliability of our application. Hence, why we are thinking about modernization, because without modernization, we will continue being in a position where we cannot provide the appropriate reliability, and we need to make sure that there are no failures in the various activities. So that kind of covers the full waterfront of why modernization. Thank you.
When it comes to modernization, also, everybody needs to figure out a way to do it right the first time. This is easier said than done, especially because 70% of the time, the digital transformation projects have just completely failed, or they have not been able to deliver the benefits that they set out to deliver. Or the more common also is 25 to 40% of the time they've just exceeded budget and run out of budget to deliver all of the value. In large organizations in particular, only about 31% of the companies have been able to gain the revenue lift, or 25% of the companies deliver the savings that they expected. So how do you become not part of these stats is the key question. And there's a framework that we followed diligently. It starts by the very foundation of it all. Doing an assessment becomes the cornerstone for your transformation journey. Investing quality time at this stage really will help you prevent significant rework later on, or budget overruns, or time overruns for that matter. I think it's really crucial to thoroughly understand the business objectives, the pain points, driving factors that set a strong foundation, and having that communication be open with all of your stakeholders, as well as all of your team members. The next is the planning. Once the transformation goals are clear, effectively planning your journey is paramount. Prioritization, understanding which elements will move forward, which elements might have to be re-engineered, which elements have to be probably shut down, are key to your success. Identifying dependencies to make sure these work well, determining technology that will enable them will help you get a seamless solution in place. Crafting a strategy that aligns with the genuine business need and aims to deliver a substantial value to your business is going to be critical during this planning and strategy phase. Next is actually execution and maintenance. The execution and maintenance phase can significantly influence the transformation success. Adopting a phased approach, I've always kind of talked about 90 days to value approach, where the longest you go without delivering value is 90 days. And adopting this in an incremental manner to be able to deliver tangible value at every phase is a good way of approaching your roadmap. And all of this there are 4 key foundations to all of this. Number 1, being program management, being able to govern the program, having clear communication strategies, being able to constantly go back and align to your business objectives is key. Second is quality. Quality starts from day one. It cannot be an afterthought. So infusing quality, may it be functional, non-functional, security is going to be key. Third is risk management. Actively working on your risks and mitigating those risks are going to be the way forward. And finally, change management. How do you get these platforms adopted? Think about that from day one. Think about behavior. Think about design-driven implementation. And one of the key things that at Mitra we use is what we call an Experio framework that kind of gives us a little bit of a shortcut, if you will. The Experio framework is designed to make digital modernization more flexible, agile, aligning with the pace of business. In corporations that have been operating for an extended period of time, we often find and encounter rigid monolithic systems that you see similar to me on the left of the screen. And this makes changing a lot difficult. In the industry calls this tech debt. When new capabilities are added or change is needed, this means you are actually changing, and it has a domino effect in changing your middleware, your legacy system, complicating that process for change, and also slowing it down. The Experio framework makes this change a lot more flexible. We address this challenge by introducing a flexible layer of digital assets with shared utilities, allowing for new additions to be made to the experience layer without impacting the middle or back end layers, simplifying the design and accelerating change. And we achieve this by leveraging reusable assets and no-code platforms, reducing the dependencies of IT and expediting your transformation process. Fariba, I'd like to invite you to maybe talk about what your organization went through, the journey your organization went through in delivering value and delivering the expected results.
I think it's important that we bring in the right team together, the right skills that have the diverse expertise from a talent perspective is going to be critical in modernizing any initiative. So that's number one from a team perspective. And this team has to be able to not only bring in their diversity to the table, but it has to be overall collaborative and build on top of each other's point of view and innovation. Secondly, I believe there has to be a significant, strong leadership sponsorship. Without having that guidance and that vision, the team will not be able to progress forward. So the continual support from a leadership perspective is going to be a critical ingredient in successful modernization. And then the ability to be able to make the decisions quickly, having not only that sponsorship, but more importantly, the ability to make the call in midst of the complexities and various scenarios that may come about, and be able to continue keeping the momentum. And then thirdly, I think it's going to be important for the team, as I mentioned, not only you have to have the right skill set and the collaboration, but more importantly, everybody understanding the goals and everybody being able to communicate and share in that set of goals, and be able to continually being able to not only collaborate, but more importantly, always have that North Star in front of everybody's viewpoint. That way they will be able to continue drawing the right lines and making the right decisions while they are in the midst of modernization. The next critical important dimension is the focus on the end user's experience. You can modernize all you want. If you don't have, at the end of it, the right experience, making the journey simple, making sure that the customer is center of that focus, then all is for nothing. So making sure that the modernization effort is prioritizing the end user's experience, and more importantly, be able to validate and test along the way whether or not we will be having the best user's experience. And then finally, it's critical for us to be able to select the right technology when we are moving forward. So adopting the cutting edge technology that enables improvement around performance, security, efficiency is going to be absolutely critical. And more importantly, it has to be reusable capabilities that we are the various components so that we can minimize redundancy of work as we go forward. So thinking about making sure that we are always in component-based architecture and are always thinking about reusable UI components and pieces from a back-end perspective is going to be absolutely critical in order for us to be able to have the right agility of enhancements in the future. So, Chinthi, I think we need to also spend some time talking about the benefits of application modernization, and in particularly from a digital modernization perspective. I think as part of modernization, we always have to think about the business process and ability to streamline the business process and adopting the right end-to-end combination of the technology and business process is going to bring us significant benefit, and it will reduce the redundancy, it will simplify the maintenance, as well as it will accelerate the future various features that we may want to deploy over time. It also actually fosters the right level of customer satisfaction and loyalty. And this will help you from a brand identity as well as brand loyalty. So that is a critical business benefit from a modernization perspective. It also, if you think about it, I have mentioned around reusability of the various capabilities. I think that would really help your technology organization to be able to always be a lot more efficient, innovative, as well as help with the growth of the organization. So that would be a critical dimension around not only operational efficiency, but more importantly, ability to bring in new capabilities and support new products and new initiatives and ways to compete of being a much more simplified world, if you will. And it reduces the significant components from a back-end services, and it creates a more integrated environment. It fosters cross-functional collaboration. It not only drives innovation, but more importantly, it brings forward data that would then you can draw critical insights to your products and your solutions that you're bringing to the table to be able to continue have the process improvement. And process improvement is going to be a critical dimension of modernized benefits that the modernization will bring forward to your organization, as well as optimized resourcing from a technology and business perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Fariba, for that wonderful elaboration. I think you basically gave out a blueprint of how you did it. We have a few questions coming for both you and I. I'll ask the question, and maybe we can have you answer them before we wrap up. So, Fariba, one question that came in, and it's an interesting one, that we're speaking only of how we got to success, right? I guess real experience comes actually from the challenges. So one question is, What were the challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, thank you, Chinthi. So I think if you think about it, one of the biggest challenges that we faced was within, well, it's twofold. One, within technology team. So we had individuals, architects, that were architecting what I would call the panacea solution, the
Hmm.
perfect solution.
Yeah.
And while that is very important, they wanted everything to be just right from a reusability perspective, no shortcuts, just perfection. On the other hand, we had to deliver, and we had to deliver some meaningful value. And
Mm.
we couldn't be sitting there for months and weeks to just achieve very little, if you will. So
Mm.
it's the dynamics of perfection versus delivery of something, right?
Real
And
value.
there were times that we had to make a call relative to taking a little bit more what I would call tactical view of
Mm.
delivery so
Yep.
that we can then deliver something sooner rather than later,
Yep.
and then um, come back and address the additional changes. So what we did was we made some of those calls as they came about, and and one of the important things is let's make sure that we understand the pros and cons. And sometimes we made, because it was such a foundational decision from a
Mm.
technology perspective, solutioning, that taking the extra time was important.
Right.
Yet there were other things that we could come back and address. And at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that we bring value to the organization and that we have a valuable component to our delivery. So it was a little bit of dynamics of
Of
the
course.
perfection versus good enough, if you will.
Yeah.
and and there were times that I had to personally make those calls.
Yeah.
Other times the team would collaborate and make the call of a short term versus long term. But you have to be careful because you don't want to make a lot of tactical decisions that then it will come back and bite you in terms of a
Mm.
long term. So that was one challenge. The other challenge is getting the attention of our business partners. Our
Mm.
business partners were very busy with their own set of goals. They each, the marketing organization had their own targets, the salespeople had their own targets, and getting their attention in the modernization when it's more of a vaporware and they didn't quite understand the value that it brings them, it was
Mm.
hard to get their attention. And if you remember, one of the things I said in the beginning is that the leadership sponsorship was important. Yes, my sponsorship for our um, on the technology side, but the executive sponsorship and making sure that the goals are well understood was at times very helpful to overcome the attention of the challenges that we were facing from a business perspective. I would say that those are two major, but it's amazing. Once you bring in and forward, and the first delivery is hard, but once you
Mm.
bring forward the delivery, people start believing you. People
Correct.
start thinking that what you're delivering, they recognize the
Mm.
intrinsic value of it outside of the fact that it's now supporting some of their business needs. So they are then a lot more apt to collaborate and build a synergistic team. And they are also willing to prioritize their needs and say, this requirement is a higher value than the next requirement. And they're now going to then want, well, if you don't do it now, then you never get it done, right? So if you could show that you have a process that is repeatable, you're doing work in an agile manner, and you're thinking about the highest business values and bringing it and showing them, then they are much more easier to work with you on prioritization and putting things in backlog versus what needs to be delivered immediately.
Oh my God, that's just gold in terms of insight. So essentially, what you're saying, Fariba, is I think you live that framework that I shared. Essentially, also saying, hey, look at your roadmap, prioritize it, look for the quick wins that deliver value, but most importantly is get that buy-in, get that sponsorship, so that you're constantly being supported through the journey. But not supported forever, right? You have delivered, and picking that high value asset to deliver upfront, the quick wins are going to be critical. I think that was fantastic. There's one more question for you.
Sure.
And then I'll take the question that has come in for me. What were your guiding principles when designing your member experience? They're asking. Through your digital channels versus any other stakeholders that you would typically deal with, whether it's a provider or a platform. Did you think of that differently?
Yeah, I think we did, right? Because from a member's perspective, things have to be really easy. And, everybody compares their capabilities to Amazon experience, right?
Yes.
It's so easy. Even if you're not a computer oriented person, you can go to Amazon and click. You can buy. It supports you in comparative items that may be a little cheaper or a different feature, and it's easy. It's visual.
Intuitive.
It's simple. It's very intuitive. Yes, and then you just click easily, right? And we have to create the insurance experience similarly. Submission of claim, as an example, is hard, right? Because you need to be able to have the right documentation. You have to have the right dollars that or fees, the right location that you went and got services, the right provider, and it's hard for a member to submit, as an example, a claim submission. So you have to make it intuitive, and you have to give them prompts and easy navigation and simplify their claim experience in that scenario. And more importantly, we're instead of letting them enter a lot of information, prompting them and giving them choices, or do the search in the background. And if they select, they say Dr. Smith, show all the Dr. Smiths you have, and their specialty or their location, so that they can select the right physician, as an example. So putting yourself in place of that member and making that journey as simple as possible, then it would enable them to come back to you. And one of the things we did, especially our member mobile application, we all are every day using our phones as if they were computers, right? And when we're not happy with a product, we take a picture of it and we can upload it easily, for example, to Amazon, right? Or if you're a Spanish-speaking person, then you want the prompts to be in Spanish. So we took those key learnings from, shopping on Amazon or any other retail, and bringing that concept to the world of complex around healthcare and making it
Yeah.
easy for the member to find a provider, to find a service that is local to them, to do comparative analysis of costs, allowing them to take pictures of documents and having them right there on their mobile application as an example to submit that. So thinking about the members' experience and then helping them how they can come back, right? It has to be easy enough for them to come back.
Absolutely. So essentially, you
Thank you.
took the retail world as an example, because that's where they're kind of, I mean, Amazon, to your example, they're known to be customer first. So why not? I mean, that's such a brilliant sort of comparison. Not to look for the best in your industry, but to look for the best in the customer experience industry, if we call that an experience.
That's right. And all of us at this point in time shop online, right? And some of the retail companies are easy to navigate, others are not. And to a degree that it's easy, then you go back to those retail companies, whatever they are, they're online. And yes, brand name means something, but sometimes difficult retail experience, you won't go back. So taking that from a retail perspective and applying those concepts to healthcare, which is complex to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, because if your experience is better, you actually might pay a little bit more for it, because you want ease, you want it to be intuitive. So you're applying the same sort of framework in the healthcare world, which is
and for us, we need to compete with our competitors, and digital and digitalization is a key to that.
Thank you, Fariba. That's wonderful. I think we have maybe one more question, time for one more question. So I think one question was, how has the Expira framework reduced dependency? And I can take this one on IT and expedite transformation process in healthcare and increase customer experience. So here's when Fariba and I first chatted. It was very clear for me that we were sort of the quick wins were important. Finding sort of ways and methods in which you could deliver something faster. And you heard Fariba talking about sort of building a model and making sure it was repeatable. So those were, what our North Star was when we engaged in this program and project. So what the Experience framework also focuses on is actually reusability across the domain as well as infrastructure, integration, and really the front end development of it, as well as the services. So we want to be able to we templatized it, for a lack of a better word, templatized it and productized certain elements of it so that we can repeat it over and over and over again. As well as we wanted to automate as much as possible. So we looked at reusable open standards for APIs. We looked at reusable UI components that can, every sort of module or feature that we brought in, there was a starting point that was more developed than starting from scratch. It plays a big part in that experience because having something look the same in the first screen as it is in the second or third is critical as well. We brought in a lot of DevOps and security automation because we wanted to get some of the operational elements of it automated and seamless. We want to be able to get something out into production as fast as possible. So DevOps was key. Lots of monitoring dashboards. So, how do we know that something looks good if you don't measure it and analyze it and get that insight? So we continuously sort of automate things. And then microservices, being able to sort of utilize, the digital integration aligned to the business was also really, really key for us. So that's essentially what the framework does and how it helped us sort of deliver the value. And for anybody interested, the framework's available. A little bit of material is available on our website, and you're welcome to request for a demo or come have a conversation with us. I think with that, we are almost at time. If there are no further questions, let me just double check the questions. Yep. No, I think we're good. Fariba, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining me today. You are just full of insights and great advice
Thank
for
you.
anybody looking to modernize. I think you completely enriched this webinar, and we
Thank
hope
you.
to have you share more and more like this, and you're an asset to any company that has you. With that, I'd like to thank everybody attending today. Your active participation made the session really lively, and like I said, Fariba, your insights are just, I don't know.
Well, first of all,
super valuable.
Chinthi, I want to say thank you. Thank you to Mitra Innovation Organization. And then one parting thought for everybody is, spend a little bit of time in advance of your modernization program to really think about the approach, the framework, and the individuals that you have part of the team, and spend that first a few weeks around the design before you jump in with full bodies, if you will. So with that, thank you so much. I appreciate all the collaboration, partnership.
Thank you, Fariba. And thank you again for everybody watching it. If you couldn't catch this live today, we will have this available online soon and available on our website. And like I mentioned before, please go ahead. You can visit our website for more details on the Experio framework, as well as we will be sharing how you can access this recording in the future. Thank you once again for everyone joining. A big thank you for you, Fariba, and we look forward to continued involvement in our future events. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Leading the way in AI.